Hi, hello, welcome or welcome back to Joy Knits and my little corner of the internet where there's not enough time for my time-consuming hobbies. I'm Aubrey, and today I have my 10th podcast episode for you. We have a lot of whips to get through, so let's get right into it. Okay, first off, I am wearing my porcelain sweater by Knit. It is in, what is it in? Loops and Threads. Sorry, I got my cats on their little window bed right now chasing a fly at the moment. That's fun. It is in Loops and Threads. I think it's their like merino base. Where it was like half acrylic, half superwash. It is in this dark navy color, and then the contrast is a light purple. I absolutely love this. I had to go back into the sleeves a little bit and add some length, and now I wear it a lot more. I finished this last April, and I finished it like as soon as the weather was turning, and so I couldn't really wear it much. Today is absolutely freezing in North like Seattle area for me. Finally, I feel like it's been so wishy-washy this winter. But anyways, that is what I'm wearing. My first finished object is a pair of gloves that I talked about last podcast in my Handspun. Put a photo of them up here. I finished those I think a couple days after my last podcast, and I wore them the other day after work because it was like 30 degrees and I had to scrape some snow or frost off my car. So it was freezing, and they did work. Um, they kept my hands fairly warm, and I do run cold, so anything like I'm always cold, but at least I had a little bit of coverage when I was scraping that off. Um, yeah, they're fine. The pattern I used though, it does distinct between a right hand and a left hand, and so I had to figure that out the hard way. So yeah, I have a distinct right hand and a distinct left hand because the thumbs kind of are more in. Um, they don't just go on the outside like some other gloves do. But that's totally fine. I can figure it out pretty easily just by looking at them and then trial and error of putting them on. But yeah, that was my first finished object. My second one wasn't even like a whip on the last podcast. It is a beanie, one of the red beanies for the F ice, melt the ice. I'm not saying craze, but protest. So in the 1940s, during World War II, the Norwegians knit a bunch of red hats in protest. You good there, Simba? He's acting like he didn't just fall off the bed. They knit a bunch of red hats in protest to the Nazi occupation. And then a couple years later, the Nazis outlawed it and basically banned the red hats because they were protesting them. And the reason why these are now back in is because of ICE, and it is to protest ICE's occupation, basically. And we'll see how long it takes for these to be like outlawed or something. But yeah, this is my contribution to it. I used one ball of the Superwash Cascade 220, or not Cascade, but Cascade Yarn Superwash 220 in this bright red color, and then I held it with one of the Malabrigo Rios. I'm actually not sure, but I know it's a Malabrigo yarn. Um, and it was one of the sock yarns, and it did give a really nice marl to it. I cast it on 98, 99 stitches. I did a tubular cast on here, and then I just knit up until I have no idea how long, but then I did just some decreases. I didn't follow a pattern, I just decreased, and it's kind of a little weird looking, but I'll put a photo up of me wearing it, and I really do like it. It's very nice and squishy. You can see how thick it is. I knit this on 4.5mm needles, and crap, I forgot to look up how long it took me. I think it took me a couple of days. Um, yeah, I will put up the little stats for that up here, kind of like how AJ does from AJ Knits. I think this is on my needles for a couple of days. I know I casted this on because I got rejected from a nursing school, and then I had to work that weekend, and I think I finished it like once I was done, and I worked 3 days. So I think it took me about 4 or 5 days to work on this. Um, but yeah, I like it. It's fairly stretchy. It does hug my head, and that's what I like in a hat is to hug my head. But yeah, that was my little melt the ice hat. The pattern melt the ice I will link down below, and I have it linked to my project page on Ravelry. Um, if you'd like to donate, the pattern's only $5, and it's the traditional Norwegian protest hat, but I just did like a 1x1 beanie. But yeah, pattern's $5. All the proceeds get donated to the families and the efforts to go against ICE, basically all over the United States because that's the state of the world we're in right now. But yeah, that's it. If you'd like to donate, go follow their website as well if you want to donate more than the $5 of purchasing the pattern. But yeah, that was Melt the Ice hat. And now on to like the galore of whips that I have. My first whip has been one that's been hibernating for months. It's because I've been needing the 4mm needles that I have had to use for this for the past like 3 or 4 months. It is my Sweet Shop blanket by Laura Penrose. This is how we're going so far. Ignore this purple one. I totally did it wrong. You're supposed to work like this way inwards to make it work because this whole blanket is short rows. And it's a very good pattern to start working on short rows. Um, but yeah, I'm very much just randomly working on this. All of the colors are hand dyed yarns. And then this cream, um, is Baby Bee Sweet Delight from Hobby Lobby in like their natural ivory color. I have 5 balls of this, and this is the first ball, so I think it's gonna go by very fast. But yeah, so I'm using about 4mm needles, about 10 grams per half square, and my color scheme is so like pink and orange, those are warm colors. So I'm trying to keep the diagonals in the warm colors, and then these two are like darker colors. Disregard this one because I was starting this again late last night and I completely forgot about my color scheme, even though I was like placing the colors out in the color scheme that I wanted. But yeah, and I figured that out as soon as I was done with the brown square and started the cream here. This one I accidentally did way out of order because I was gonna go right to left when you're looking at it, and yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out how to join them when we get over there. So that'll be fun. But I have an entire bag full of minis and stuff, so this is gonna be a very long term whip. But I just wanted to give an update on this. But yeah, that's that. And I like using the little short needles, like the 16-inch needles. Is that it? 16-inch? Something. One of the shorter circumference needles, just because it's a bit easier to work on since, you go from like 20 something stitches to then one when you decrease. So yeah, it's just a bit easier to work on. My next whip is also from Hibernation. This is my Ranunculus. I casted this on when I wasn't podcasting, so didn't even show the whip. Um, I got through the yoke and then I put it on hold because it was turning fall. And I got this yarn at Flock Fiber Festival. This is, I think, Tumlo Fibers. This is their cotton and linen base. And this is in the color parchment. I got 3 of these skeins. And this is my ranunculus so far. I have the sleeves done. I didn't do the short rows in the front, but I did do them in the back here. I believe this is the twisted ribbing on 3mm needles, and then we are doing the body on 3.75. I added a little bit of the purling details here on the sleeve, and I just kept the 3.75 and did the twisted ribbing afterwards. And then now we are on the body. Um, for my birthday, I actually did get these little stitch stoppers from a yarn store. I can't remember the name of them, but they're adorable. But yeah, this is the how it's going so far. Um, this is the last ball I have. I think I'm gonna go and just knit on this for a hot minute. I would like to finish this soon because I'm going on vacation in March to somewhere way warmer than here, and I would love to wear this there and get it blocked because I think the texture might relax a little bit more with blocking. Um, Again, for however long this has been in my needles, I will put up here, and once they're finished, I'll put on a running of like how long we've been working on this. But yeah, I like it so far. I could not tell you what size I'm working this. I know people said Ranunculus is gaugeless. I could not figure it out of how you make that gaugeless because of the sizing and all that stuff. So I kind of don't even remember what I did, but yeah, this is how it turned out so far. I kind of wish that I had added um, the other pearl bumps into here, just so to make it a little bit more cohesive, and that's why I did it here as well. But I'm also really hoping that there isn't like a tension difference between when I stopped for months and then came back, but I think we're working. I think it's going okay so far. Keeping with my hat craze, I casted on just a random beanie. There's no pattern for this, but this is out of my handspun that I showed in the last podcast that I was working on, or I finished it. I can't remember what, but I know I showed the process of me spinning a half of it at least on here. But this is what it turned out to be. I think it's a pretty like a heavy worsted Aran bulky weight. It's thick. But I really like it, and it's turning out into this hat. I'm doing it top down. I cast it on 12 stitches. I think, yes, I cast it on 12 stitches, increased until 82, I think, or 90 something. And then this is also on 4.5 millimeter needles, and I'm just knitting down until I kind of run out of yarn or I'm at a good spot to start ribbing. I am nervous I'm going to run out of yarn, so I have a backup of making the brim in just a white yarn that I have. But yeah, this is it so far. It's nothing much. I got to close up that hole later. But you can see it is actually very thick, so I think this is going to be a very nice, ooh, I lost a stitch. I think this is going to be a very nice winter hat anywhere I go. Even if I do the brim in a white color or in a different yarn, I think it'll still be pretty thick. The only thing about this right now is that it might be like the slightest bit too tight. So I could gift it to somebody if I didn't want to wear it or if it was too tight for me. Um, the one thing I don't like about tweed fiber is that if you don't draft it super thin, then you good there, bud? Sorry, Max is making all hell break loose downstairs. Oh, and his brother's about to join him. One thing is about that fiber, like I said, if you don't draft it super thin with the tweed part of it, um, it just won't spin up nicely. Like you'll just get a very thick part of the fiber that just basically isn't spun. Um, and that makes it really difficult to work with knitting wise. And yeah, so parts of this is definitely thick and thin, and then other parts, yeah, thick and thin. And then sometimes it's really hard to work with. But right now I'm in like a nice patch of the yarn where actually everything was spun pretty thin and applied together very nicely. Um, but yeah, this is my like current stockinette project because everything else that I have other than the t-shirt where this is wool, like this is just nicely stockinette and pretty short in the round. Um, but yeah, and this was the ply. If you can maybe, so not too bad. This was on one of the new spinners that I also got for my birthday. Um, I got it from the yarn shop. I got these little boot thingies from, which was super nice. Um, so yeah, we'll see when that gets finished. It might just be a long-term whip, something that I can work on as stockinette, because I do have some deadlines on stuff that are coming pretty soon. But first, I will talk about my other long-ish whip. This is the Jaunty shawl. So I talked about casting this on last time. I talked to you guys in a podcast format, and this was the main yarn that I wanted to work with. This is Pavlova, an American Rainbow Lay by Little Fiber Co. that I spun up for this. This is part of Andrea Mowry's Jaunty spin along. And then I was gonna do the contrast color in brioche and in American Rainbow Lay with a Little Fiber coat, and I already spun that up, but it was way too cream, like warm tone leaning for me to spin or like work with this, since this is extremely cool toned. So I tried a gray yarn. It just looked really muddy. And then I tried just doing it with Pavlova, and this is only like 100 and some grams of yarn, so it would have been a very short shawl. And I'm like, if I'm gonna do a scarf, I'm gonna go all out for a scarf. But then I remembered I have this blue Cascade Heritage 6. I have no idea what color this is. I got this at discount at my yarn store. It's about a sport weight light worsted. And my yarn here is a pretty heavy worsted. Not heavy worsted, but it is definitely worsted. But yeah, this is what, maybe if I can get this up. This is what we are looking at so far. This is in half fisherman's rib. I think the colors are looking very well together. I like the light blue, and of it dulling down it a little bit in the color difference. But you can see the color change with my hand spun, and I just think it looks very nice. It is pretty squishy. There's like not an applied I-cord, but a work as you go I-cord. Um, yeah, it's really cute. I love the dark spots of the hand spun. I think this is gonna do or look very nice and feel very nice, especially when blocked. Um, I think the sock yarn is my outlier, so I think I'll go until we have at least 49 grams of this. This one I'm gonna have. Do have a little bit more of, because I ran out of space on my thingy when I was plying, so just has a little bit extra. Um, if I do run out of this before this. But yeah, I think this is going to be a gigantic shawl. I'm totally fine with that. And I'm totally fine with this kind of being a whip throughout the summer into the fall. That way I can wear it this upcoming winter. Um, but yeah, this is how this is going so far. And then I was thinking with the other, because I have two things of Pavlova um, that I could spin up the second one and then just make like a Sophie shawl out of those two. So, we got plans. We got yarn for plans. Second, fourth, something. My next whip is a test knit for Laura from Sunday Morning Knits. Excuse me. I knit her Petra socks, who they're still determined to be coming out, but I will definitely show those again when they do come out and mention it. But I am knitting her Floris socks. This is a pointel sock with a ruffle hem. Showing you the bad side. Yeah, the ruffle hem kind of looks like a lettuce hem from, like, when you have a pointel tank top, and it has just a little ruffle hem here. This is, you cast on X amount of stitches and then you knit 3 together. A bunch of us testers had problems of being able to do the knit 3 together right off the bat from the cast on. I knit 1 row and then I decreased and then started the pointel, just followed the pattern. I really like it. I this is all the yarn I have left. This is from my sunflower socks that I made. Um, and I knew I was going to be pushing it a little close, but I thought I had enough for all of them. But when I weighed it before I did the toe, I had about 25 grams used, and then this was like 26 grams. So I definitely knew I was going to need a contrast toe and another yarn. And I love the brown, so this is the brown that I also used as the contrast color. Okay, sorry about that. Parenting cats is tough. So yes, I used a little bit of the brown, but then as soon as I finished it, I kind of wish I did the ruffle in the brown. That way they would be somewhat cohesive looking. Even though I do know that, that's going to be in the foot and you're not going to see the toe. That's why I was okay with it. Um, it's still pretty cute. But yeah. And the reason why I look so long is because I did size 1, so that's a 60 stitch cuff and foot. I did a ribbed heel flap and gusset, and it does have a good amount of stretch, and it does stretch like this on my foot. Um, so, I'm okay with it being a little tight, and that's why it's pretty long. I am not sure if I'm gonna cast on the next one right away. I probably should, just because I am in the middle of 2 pretty big test knits, not for myself, but for other designers. But yeah, this one was due in a little bit, so that's why I wanted to get this finished at least, and I will put my input in my form and the amount of grams that I've used right after this. But yeah, these are the Floris socks by Laura from Sunday Morning Knits, and I will post about these whenever they are available as well. So that was it for my whips. I do have one, but it is a secret test knit for Rebecca Clow. A part of her book Test Knits. It is the mole cardigan. I am absolutely loving that. I am addicted to it right now because of the stitch pattern. I am making a whole project vlog about it. So whenever the pattern or the book does release, I will be making or will be going ahead and posting that. But I am getting on a roll with that one. I just finished the sleeves and I'm working on the body now. And I need to get more of a roll on it because I am also in a test knit for a full cabled sweater jumper thing. My yarn should be coming tomorrow for it. The test knit already started on Saturday. And both test knits end like mid-April. And it's currently mid-February right now. So yeah, a little stressful. And then there's still the potential of getting into nursing school in April. So these next couple of weeks are going to be pretty difficult to get stuff done. And I'm going on vacation for about a week and a half in March. So yeah, definitely need to get stuff done and rolling. And I can't cast anything else on, even though I would love to. Oh, I forgot about a whip. One of my, literally my own design I forgot about. Reason why I forgot about it is because I put it on, I finished both the sleeves and then I haven't touched it since because, I had the cardigan to work on. And, ooh, that was a very nice rollout though. But yes, this is my Monica sweater. I finished both sleeves. And now I just have to work on the body. And with the yarn that I got for the cabled sweater that I'm working on, that took a while. I think it's called the Westport pullover. I got the Wool of the Andes bulky yarn for that, and I got a couple extra skeins of this Pico navy color because I only have a ball and a half, and this is where the body is. Like, There's no way I'm gonna get a decent length sweater with this being a little oversized out of a ball and a half of 50 grams of yarn that are 110 meters, and one of them's already used. So I bought a couple more, and this will still be on hibernation until the cardigan and the sweater are both done, because it's just a stockinette body after that because everything else is done. But yeah, that's the Monica sweater. I'm hoping to find a not test, a tech editor soon to kind of like finalize my pattern and stuff. Because I'm doing all the math with Excel, but sometimes the math is wrong. But even though I'm trying to make sure it all works because I'm knitting as I'm writing it. But yeah, hopefully we can get it tech edited, and then if not tech edited, I don't know. I have to ask around of what people's opinions are on that. If you have an opinion or just have some advice for like tech editing a pattern that I'm already grading myself, um, and then it's gonna get test knitted, let me know in the comments what you like, what's your opinion on that. And if you would like to test knit for that pattern, I would love if you would stick around for whenever I do come out with that. Um, Other than that, so my acquisitions is that cabled knit with the yarn for that, and then the yarn for the Monica sweater, and then what else? Little Fiber Co's, like little season subscription is coming in. I got fiber for that. That's should be coming this weekend. And then yesterday I was just browsing a yarn website that sometimes has Sandus yarn in stock, and they had Sunday available in statement green. It's one of the petite knit colors. It's a very, very bold clover green. Um, very St. Patrick's Day green, by the way. And I was saying literally earlier that morning, I was like, oh, one of the Maisie cardigan by M Knits. I was like, oh, that would look amazing. Okay. Anyways, people don't knock on my door. That's why I got scared with that. Anyways, so I thought that the Maisie cardigan by M Knits would look absolutely amazing in a very punchy green. That's one of the only colors I don't have in my like knitwear closet and yarn stash. I do have a dark green color, but nothing bright like that. Like the only bright color I got is this yellow, and my favorite color is yellow. So I'm very excited. I ordered that yarn last night. There's like 7 balls available. I ordered all 7 balls. I know it's like a light fingering, not a light fingering, a fingering weight, maybe like sport weight yarn, and so I might have to get some mohair to hold with it, depending on what project I use for it. But yeah, I'm excited for that to come in because being in the US, we don't get the European yarns as much. And I have some Pure Gint and Double Sunday that I want to use that I got a couple months ago from a Black Friday sale with a yarn store. Um, but the Pure Gint, I think I have to get a mohair for it just to make it a little bit darker than what I want. Um, but yeah, I'm super excited for that. And she's making like a V-neck cardigan of her Maisie in a bright green as well. And I'm kind of holding out for a making sure we are on good. I'm kind of holding out for like a crew neck version of it, but I think if I got the cardigan I could fudge it, maybe. But we'll see. Um my boyfriend got me the 52 weeks of sweaters um pre-order from Lane for my birthday and Valentine's Day. He's kind of spoiling me rotten for my birthday, and I love him so much for it. But yeah, um, that's kind of how it's going. My book club cardigan, my Arctic Light sweater, and my Arundel sweater are all on hold at the moment. I was really wanting my book club cardigan done for this spring, but I'm getting another cardigan with the mole cardigan, so it's fine. Hopefully I can get into that one soon after I finish these 2 sweaters. And then Yeah, the Arendelle one, I'm also making a project vlog for because it's my first time steeking, but I haven't even gotten past, like, the middle body part portion. I have, like, added the numbers for or added the spot things for what? The bridges for the steeking, and I've only gotten, like, maybe an inch or 2 past that. And then the Arctic Light sweater was just getting really complicated with the cables and the yoke. I think that might excuse me. I think that might have been the most complicated sweater I have ever worked on. Um, like, it's a raglan, and so you're having to figure out like, I could not work on that without having a chart and without being mentally prepared for it. So, I think I'm past the part and where I'm adding cables, but I'm adding now stitches for the moss stitch. So, it's just that was a lot, and I put that away because I had other stuff I wanted to work on. So, um but yeah, that's kind of all that I have been working on recently. Um, Not sure. I will be able to share the Westport pullover, but I can't share the mole cardigan, like I said, because it's a secret test knit for her book. But I will be posting a project vlog for it whenever the pattern comes out. But yeah, that's it for me today. If you had any questions, please leave a comment down below, give a like, and subscribe for future content. And I will talk to you guys next time. It was fun chatting with you. Bye.